deck. He uses a Dread Return to get back Angel of Glory's Rise, which gets back his combo pieces, and then he wins. So it's a mill deck.
Yeah, and a lot of you guys tweeted at me, you guys tweeted at SCG Live. You guys wanted to see Blue, Red, White Delver. We did not disappoint. Dustin Taylor with Blue, White, Red Delver, Delvery Secrets, Grim Lavamancer, Geistling Trap, Vidalian Click, Stifle, Brainstorm, Swords to Plowshare, Lightning Bolt, Forcible, Spell Pierce, Daze, and Ponder.
Right, so the usual suspects, some burns, some counters, and some creatures.
All right, so Dustin leads off with a turn 1 Delvery Secrets. Dustin has a really cool sideboard as well. Rest in Peace, Graph Digger's Cage, Tormod's Crypt. Hates the graveyard, right? But then he also has Engineer Explosives, Force of Will, more Spell Pierces, a couple of Sulfur Elementals as well.
You know what's also really cool about Dustin Taylor's deck? I think my favorite part of it
Is what?
his Bucket Island.
Oh, his island, yep.
Yeah,
All right.
pretty good island.
So Delver does not flip, but here's a Ponder, and this is going to be flipping next turn. So Dustin has a really good Ponder right there. It's 2 lands and a Brainstorm. So Dustin will draw the Tundra, I believe.
Yep, there it is.
And he'll beat him for 1, and the next turn, that Delver Secrets will flip to a 3/2 flyer.
Yep, and you guys didn't miss something. Nick Patnode, no land drop. And why is that?
Because he mulliganed before.
Well, not only that, he doesn't have any lands in his deck.
But he also mulliganed before.
He did. He's on 4 cards, and now he has 5. He's just trying to amass a critical mass of rituals.
Do you think Nick will, miss his land drops for game 2 as well?
I envision Nick not playing a land this match.
That's unfortunate for Nick.
Yeah.
But how is he 3-0 without ever playing a land?
We're just going to have to find out.
All right. So meanwhile, Dustin Taylor plays a Geistling Draft, and Nick is just dead next turn.
Yep, and I really, really hope that Nick doesn't go to his discard phase, because...
Do you think Dustin knows what Nick is playing?
I don't think so. Unless he had some kind of scouting on it, he doesn't. And see, discarding Gitaxian Probe is...
Ooh, well, I mean, Dustin doesn't have any counter spells in his hand. He does have 2 Brainstorms and a Stifle. Maybe Nick could go off.
Yeah, there's a chance. It depends what mix of rituals he has.
Yeah.
But he has to make it happen
I see
now.
a Simian Spirit Guide. That's the first step.
Yep. And he's looking at his hand, of 7. Oh, we got another probe.
There's another probe.
He found an Elvish Spirit Guide, so there's a little more mana, but nope, packs it in.
All right, so this definitely gave away that Nick is playing some sort of combo deck.
It did, but at the same time, it doesn't tell Dustin everything he needs to know.
Yeah, Dustin's thinking. He's just like, nah, I still don't know what you're playing. I know it's combo, so all right, let's put ourselves in Dustin's shoes. Dustin's sideboard, I'm going to read it slowly to you guys, so you guys could play along at home, follow along. He has 1 Vidalian Click. Against combo, sure, you want a Vidalian Click. Not only is it a threat, it's also a disruption type card. Sulfur Furor Elemental? Probably not. 3/2 Flash Guy.
It's hard to put your opponent on a white deck when
white deck,
Gitaxian Probes.
Yeah, definitely not Sulfur Elemental. The extra Geistling Draft, why not, right? More pressure against combo decks, get it down on turn 3, beat for 6, beat for 6.
It's way better than a Grim Lavamancer.
Yeah, close of the game. Spell Pierce, most definitely.
Of course.
Red Elemental Blast. Well, we saw 2 blue cards.
Exactly. Now this is the
close.
tough part for Dustin.
Well, tell us about it, Zach.
So, if you're Dustin Taylor, you just goldfished your opponent. He played a Gitaxian Probe and a Gitaxian Probe. He's clearly playing some kind of combo deck, but what do you put him on? Do you put him on a Manaless Dredge deck? Do you put him on a Storm deck? Do you put him on an Oops All Spells deck?
He could be a Charbelcher too, right?
He could be a Charbelcher deck. He could be a lot of different things, and what Dustin has to figure out is, does he side in his Graveyard Hate? Does he side in his Anti-Storm Hate? Does he side in his Engineered Explosives to be able to be empty the Warrens? Dustin's in actually kind of a tough spot here.
Yeah, so Red Elemental Blast is a question mark. I would say yes, I think.
I would side it in.
All right, Disenchant, maybe.
Maybe. Again, if he's Charbelcher, you want it, but if he's any of the other decks, you don't.
All right, Forcible, definitely. And then to round out the sideboard, it's Engineering Explosives, maybe. Graph Digger's Cage, maybe. Tormod's Crypt, probably not, but maybe again. And finally, Rest in Peace.
Right.
It's pretty difficult.
It's a tough spot. I expect Dustin will hedge a little bit here. Yeah. I think we'll see him side in at least 1 EE. We'll see him side in the Red Blast. We'll see him side in the Mendelian. We'll probably see him side in maybe not all of his Graveyard Hate, but the more versatile ones.
Yeah, if you guys want to tweet in, let us know what you think you would do if you were in Dustin's shoes right here. He does have a lot of dead cards against any type of combo deck. Swords to Plowshare, usually not very good. Grim Lavamancer, usually not very good.
Right.
Yeah.
Even Lightning Bolt, it does deal 3 to the dome, but probably not what he wants.
Yeah. All right, and what do you think about Nick? Is there anything that he's at a sideboard, or is his deck so confusing where or just leave it up to the experts?
Well, no, he'll definitely side in Xantid Swarm. Xantid Swarm is great against any kind of Force of Will deck. If you're not familiar with it, we'll try and get it up on the screen for you. It's an anti-counterspell card. He probably isn't siding in Nature's Claim. He probably isn't siding in Goblin Charbelcher. Leyline of Sanctity also kind of questionable. It's really the Xantid Swarms
And the Empty the Warrens.
maybe the Empty the Warrens.
Yeah, I think versus most blue decks, you want Empty the Warrens, just so if your opponent doesn't have a fistful of counters, maybe they'll allow some of your rituals to resolve. All of a sudden, you play Empty the Warrens, get a bunch of tokens, and you can win that way.
Right. Okay, so we don't have Xantid Swarm, but what it does, it's 1 green for an 0/1 flyer. When it attacks, your opponent can't play spells this turn. So it's a silence on a stick.
Exactly, yeah. So it doesn't have to deal any damage because it has 0 power. All it has to do is attack.
Right.
Now, what do you think about Dustin? Do you think Dustin likes his Stifles? Is Stifle usually good against these combo decks? Some of them, right?
Yeah, some of them. I mean, you can stifle a Storm Trigger versus a Storm deck. You absolutely want them versus that, but versus a Dredge deck,
not
not
that
so
good.
much. It can do something. It has a few different applications.
Versus a Charbelcher deck, you could stifle the Charbelcher for a turn.
That's really good, especially if they pay for the Charbelcher with Lion's Eye.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think the Stifles are definitely going to be important for Dustin, and I think he likes those.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, Dustin doesn't have any, hard counterspell besides Force of Will. He doesn't have a card like Counterspell. He doesn't have Counterbalance.
Right.
He has to rely on his Stifles to do some disruption, his Daze, his Spell Pierces, and if he wants to actually hard counter, he's going to have to remove another blue card. It's unlikely for Dustin to get up to 5 lands, especially when he's only playing a deck with 20 lands, and 4 of those lands are wastelands, and he's going to want to wasteland his opponent most of the time.
Right. He would love to, but in this matchup,
he's not going to. Yeah, maybe he's just not on all his wastelands.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he has them in his deck for game 2.
Yeah, and as for Stoneblade, they have more, hard counter spells, because lots of times you'll see as for Stoneblade play a couple of counter spells. Ben Friedman was on Mana Leak for a while, more of a hard counter spell, just because in Legacy 3 it's a lot more difficult to play than 1 or 2.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. In this match, Spell Pierce is a hard counter. Spell Pierce just says counter target spell for 1 blue, except in all but the strangest circumstances.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see if Dustin decides to keep a 6-card hand. He's doing some shuffling.
Yep, Nick's happy with the 7, and anytime you see a combo deck keep their 7, you have to know that you should look for a Force of Will.
Definitely.
If they're on 5 or 6, that's one thing, but 7 cards is trouble.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I mean, if I was Dustin, I would probably be a little worried here. Nick just kept the 7-card hand, so this probably means that a combo might come in a turn or 2.
Brandon Smith tweets in that Dustin should keep in the Swords to Plowshares because they RFG the Maniac in response to the Wind Trigger. The problem with that is the Angel of Glory Rise gets back Azami in Lab Maniac, so in response to 1 Swords, you can tap the Azami and try and win again.
The other problem is that Dustin doesn't know that Nick's playing this deck.
That too.
Yeah. So, and also, couldn't he just have Lightning Bolt for that?
Yeah, Lightning Bolt serves that purpose.
Yeah, so I would much rather have a card like Lightning Bolt that could go to the dome or kind of disrupt the creature combo there, rather than just a Swords to Plowshare that's only going to maybe disrupt the creature combo.
Right. It's tough to disrupt a combo like that after they've already gone off, because usually they have Cabal therapies. They have things that,
or even like a Xanthia Swarm or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's not a guaranteed stop.
All right, so Dustin's on 6 cards, and we'll see if he decides to keep. All right, so he's going to keep his 6.
A quick keep.
There's a Lotus. Uh-oh, this is going to get ugly.
Yeah, unless Dustin has a Force of Will.
I do not see a Force of Will.
He's going to be out of it.
I saw 3 lands, some red cards, and a blue card in the back. A Stifle. Are those Grim Lavamancers?
Yeah, those are Grims.
I mean, those are usually bad versus any combo deck.
Look at this. Nick Patnode does his entire deck on turn 1, and here come the Narcomoebas.
Someone take a picture of this.
Print screen.
Yeah. All right, so there's a card from Gatecrash. Undercity Informer. It's 3 mana, 2/3. Not so good and limited. It's only average. But in this deck, it's an all-star.
It really is. I actually played against that card, and it was really good for stopping on-hit effects. So there really aren't that many cards that prevent combat damage from being dealt in the Gatecrash Limited. That guy was surprisingly annoying. I think that guy's better than maybe you think.
All right, so Nick is flipping over 4 Narcomoebas. Narcomoeba, a 2 mana 1/1, not as good. Although in this scenario is very good because instead of going to the graveyard, they're coming into play, and he's able to play a Dread Return by sacrificing 3 creatures to flashback to return the Angels of Glory Rise to return all these creatures that he's putting into play.
Right, all the humans. So here come the Undercity Informers, but more importantly, here come the Lab Maniac and the Azami.
Yeah, if you guys are confused at home, don't worry. Everyone's confused.
Even me and Gerard.
Yeah, but there's an Angels of Glory Rise, 7 mana, 4/6 flyer from Avacyn Restored. He's returning all the humans into play.
Yep, and now Dustin will take this opportunity to look at Nick's entire deck, including how he sideboarded. So that's kind of the downside of this combo, is that the opponent gets to see everything.
But I mean, the upside is if your opponent gets to see everything, that means you won this certain game.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, and there's the Azami. So Dustin is just dead right here.
Yep, there's nothing he can do except formulate his plan for Game 3.
Yeah, Dustin just wants to concede here and move on to Game 3. I think Dustin will realize how bad those Grimlock matches really are.
Yeah, they don't have any targets. They can't even kill an Undercity.
Exactly. But I kind of like Dustin's chances for Game 3, just because A, he'll know exactly how to sideboard, and B, he'll be on the play, which is very important.
Right. Now we get to see how Nick sideboarded. I do think I saw Xanthid Swarm in there. I'm not sure if I saw Empty the Warrens, though.
I definitely saw Xanthid Swarm. I don't think I saw Empty the Warrens either, unless he ran really quick. All right, so a couple of dogs are really excited about this.
Yeah, Nick Patnode letting the dogs out.
Yep, turn 1 kill.
It's the second turn 1 kill we've seen. Well,
I mean, yeah, like all these turn 1 kills are just sometimes your opponent just concedes.
Right, not necessarily the kill, but turn 1 lock the game up.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like your opponent went turn 1 Dark Ritual, Channel Fireball, of the Black Lotus, you know?
Right.
Yeah. All right, so Dustin scoops it up, and they're going to be going to Game 3. And Dustin immediately goes for his sideboard. He's like, okay, I'll have to definitely do some adjustments here.
Yep, let's take out those Grims. Let's take out those swords. Let's get in the graveyard hate.
Yeah. All right, and Nick's got to be happy about that.
It's pretty interesting. To look at Dustin's sideboard, he really diversified on the graveyard hate. He has 1 Rest in Peace, 1 Crypt, 1 Grafdigger. So he has 3 total cards to hate out the graveyard.
Grafdigger's Cage is insane.
Yeah, Grafdigger's Cage is game over.
Tormod's Crypt, insane.
Yep.
Rest in Peace, a little slow at 2 mana. Isn't that weird to say? This sideboard card, specifically against this type of deck, might be too slow because it costs 2 mana.
You know, Legacy's a crazy format.
Yeah.
The presence of Wasteland and Daze and all these cheap disruption cards make it unlike any other format in that a card that costs 2, that's on the high end for Legacy. That's almost too expensive.
Yeah. And the thing is that we're watching this match here. We see a turn 1 kill. We see a triple mulligan, Dustin win, and turn 4, turn 5. But if we were to watch Esper Stoneblade versus Bug Control, they're probably gonna go to time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna go to time.
So Legacy is just really matchup dependent, deck dependent, and sometimes even draw dependent.
Yeah,
even a goblin on goblin matchup, those games take a long time. People are cycling jump out of incinerators. People are playing ringleaders. So
Goblins bouncing off and into each other.
Yeah, exactly.
So now for Game 3, I expect Nick to have Empty the Warrens in his deck. Now that Dustin knows what's up, he just has to have some out to a graveyard hate card. Even if it's only make 8 goblins.
I mean, 8 goblins is really good against Dustin's deck.
Right. Yeah. Especially since Nick knows that Dustin didn't see Empty the Warrens Game 2, so he's not going to put him on it for Game 3.
Yeah. Now, if you're Dustin, for example, and you have an opening hand with a Delver of Secrets and a Spell Pierce, are you just leading off with Delver of Secrets, or do you, keep in the back of your mind, hey, I just lost Game 2 on turn 1. Maybe I shouldn't play turn 1 Delver. Maybe I should hold up this Spell Pierce just in case.
If I have 2 lands, there's no way I'm playing Delver. 1 land, there's probably an argument to be made for playing Delver, but if you have 1 land, you should probably just hold it.
I mean, Dustin's deck probably draws only 1 land lots of times. He's only playing 20 lands.
Well, if he has a Force of Will or a Daze, that's fine, but a hand that's just Spell Pierce, Delver, no Force of Will, no Daze is a mulligan.
What about a hand of Spell Pierce, Delver, Ponder? You're obviously keeping that hand.
Yeah, that's a tough hand.
It really is. I mean, you're on the play, so you're thinking, maybe I could go turn 1 Delver, turn 2 Ponder into a land and have Spell Pierce, but maybe you won't really get a second turn.
Yeah, I mean, if your opponent keeps 7, that's a tough line to take, because turn 1 Delver leaves you open to the turn 1 win. And I wouldn't want to be embarrassed on camera and get beat turn 1 twice in a row.
I mean, there's so much you could do in a game of Magic.
That's true.
All you can really do is, sideboard correctly. I mean, once you're actually signed up for the tournament and you gave in your deck list, all you really could do is try to keep the hands you could keep, sideboard correctly, and just try to play as best you could.
So the camera doesn't change how you play?
No, the camera doesn't change how. I mean, sure, some people might think in the back of their mind, hey, I'm on camera, I want to play well, I don't want to make any mistakes. But overall, like, all you're really doing is just playing Magic against one other person. So you don't have to beat everyone in the room at one time. All you have to do is beat one person. And if there's a camera there, there's a camera there. If not, there's not.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of players change their play based on whether there's a camera there. They're almost afraid to make the riskier play. They're afraid to make the play that could make them look dumb.
Yeah,
but really, sometimes you just have to try and ignore it.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. You just have to, you know, make your own decisions and hope for the best for the most part. And I think that's what Dustin did. You know, I'm sure if Dustin goes back, he'll be like, yeah, I would have never kept 3 lands, double Grim Lavamancer, Stifle on the draw against his deck. But Dustin didn't know what he was playing, you know?
Yeah,
and then,
he was on 6 cards too.
So what is he to do? I mean, he could have went to 5 and maybe he picked up land, Delver, Force or something, and he looks like a genius, but...
My question is, what deck that plays 2 Gitaxian Probe is Delver good against? Or is Grim Lavamancer good against? Why did you keep those in?
Gitaxian Probe?
I don't know. I mean, we could ask him. Maybe he has a reason. If you guys tweet in, if you guys have an idea, if your opponent plays 2 Gitaxian Probes, what deck could we really put him on where Grim Lavamancer is good?
Yeah, I can't think of one. I'm sure there is one, but I can't think of it right now.
Yeah, well, that's why we have Twitter. We have all the awesome followers. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following SCG Live. If you guys aren't following SCG Live, just go to Twitter, SCG Live, follow us. We'll send you guys some updates. You guys will learn about Grand Prix Charlotte.
And you can win some premium.
You guys can win some premium. You guys can win some Gold Rush cards if you actually attend Grand Prix Charlotte. So it should be a good couple of weeks, hopefully, for everyone in Magic.
Yeah, there are a lot of really cool tournaments coming up.
Yeah, definitely.
There's the Pro Tour. There's the Star City Cincinnati on the same weekend as the Pro Tour. So if you're not qualified, you can go to Cincinnati.
Exactly.
The pros that are qualified for the Pro Tour won't be there.
Yeah, so SCG Open might be a slightly easier event.
Slightly.
Yeah, so if you guys want to go out, make sure you guys make the trip. Day 1 will be standard, day 2 will be legacy, but later on in the season, there's going to be, you know, some mix and matches, double standard, and team limited. You know, maybe even, we don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, so Dustin's going to be on the play. It looks like he's really enjoying himself. He's having a great time. He didn't come yesterday because of the snow, but he really wanted to make it out to at least one of these events, and he got here safely, so we're happy for that.
Yeah, actually, Dustin and his car, they slept 20 minutes away from the PTQ in Hartford, the PTQ site in Hartford, only to find out it was canceled.
Yes.
They were snowed in. They decided to make the best of it and drive down to Edison for this tournament.
Yeah, that's awesome. Get a group of friends together, make the trip down to SCG Cincinnati, and try to have a good time.
Yeah.
All right, so I think Dustin's going to keep. I think Nick, yeah, it looked like Nick was going to mulligan too. Before he even did it, he was just like, I immediately looked at Dustin to confirm that he was going to keep his hand, and he's like, yeah, well, I'm going to mulligan. Yeah. And this is something where combo players have to expect it. You're playing a combo deck. A combo means more than one thing. I don't know the exact definition of combo, but in my head, I think that's what it means. So you need to have a combination of card A, card B, card C, where Dustin, he doesn't really need this combination. The only combination Dustin needs, a couple of lands, a couple of spells. That's about it.
Right. So a few suggestions on Twitter.
Sure.
The Niv Magus Delver variant. Sure. In that matchup, you'd want Grim Lavamancer versus Dredge. Grim Lavamancer can provide a function. It can kill itself to neuter their bridges. It can kill their putrid imps.
Okay.
Things like that.
Anything else?
So not the worst.
I think someone suggested Splinter Twin, but Splinter Twin's not really a legacy deck as of now, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's a little too expensive for legacy.
Exactly, yeah.
If you want to play a 4-mana combo, you should probably play Allurin.
Yes.
Something like that.
All right, so they're off now. Dustin leads up with a Volcanic Island, and this is probably good for Dustin because he doesn't have a turn 1 Delver, but this probably means he has another play. Yeah, okay, so the turn 1 Delver was held because he probably has Spell Pierce in his hand. Oh, it's a Stifle.
Ooh. So Wasteland's still in the deck.
But he still has Grim Lavamancer in his deck, too.
Wow, you know, I thought he had enough sideboard cards to be able to take out these. I guess not.
I think he does. Medallion Click, Geist, Spell Pierce,
so
Force of Will. Yeah, I'm not sure, yeah.
Nick discards the Azami on his turn. He's content to just build up his mana base, well, quote, mana base,
yeah.
his rituals, and try and combo on the last possible turn.
So one Delver flips, and the other Delver is in play. And Dustin is sitting on a hand of Lightning Bolt, Stifle, Grim Lavamancer?
Yeah.
All right. So Nick pays 2 life. Nick should be down to 15 right now. 3 damage from the Delver and 2 from the Probe. So Dustin, you know, kind of a no Spell Pierce, no Daze, no Force of Will.
Stifle might be good enough, though. The problem with stifling the Angel of Glory's Rise trigger is that Nick has, not Cabal Ritual, Cabal Therapy.
Yes, exactly.
So he can just strip those stifles before he goes off. Dustin is going to be forced to stifle the Narcomoeba triggers, maybe.
I think I would right now just Lightning Bolt Nick to the Dome.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, hopefully.
No reason not to.
Hopefully flip the second Delver and then kill him in 2 turns.
Yep. I like that line.
Yeah. Get Nick down to 12, 6/6.
There's nothing reasonable that you're going to want a Lightning Bolt.
So now Nick is in 13. Yeah. He could definitely stifle the combo pieces from Gatecrash.
Right.
Still, the Cabal Therapy is definitely,
Yeah, Cabal Therapy is a problem card for Dustin. If he doesn't find a Brainstorm soon, a Cabal Therapy can just rip apart that hand.
Yeah.
Leave the path open for the combo.
So Stifle's good, but I think I would still rather have a Spell Pierce or Force of Will, you know, a Daze.
Right. The problem with Spell Pierce is it doesn't counter the combo pieces, so you kind of have to guess which ritual to counter.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess if he is bringing in an Empty the Warrens, Stifle's really good protection there. But then again, if you had counter spells, you could probably just counter some of the rituals.
Counterspell's pretty slow.
No, not counter spell itself,
Right,
but Spell Pierce or Daze, you know.
So what if he plays Chrome Mox? Do you Spell Pierce it?
Yeah, it's difficult.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
All right. So I believe that Delver got flipped with a Ponder. Yeah. And Nick is on 7 life here. I guess it was fine for Dustin to hold the Lightning Bolt. I think I still would have just bolted him there.
Yeah, I
just
guess
because of style. Yeah, I mean,
the theory, I guess, is that he wants to save the Lightning Bolt in case Nick only has 3 mana to play the Undercity Informant, not 4.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so he can't use the activation.
Yeah, that's
because
the only
the
reason
Undercity
I can think
Informant 2/3, but you need 1 mana to actually use the ability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So both combo pieces do require 4 mana.
Exactly. That's definitely a good point there. And plus, holding Lightning Bolt is fine as well. Just because if you have the extra mana, you can always just go for the Dome.
Right.
And it's not like Nick is going to try to go off on Dustin's turn.
Exactly. So I see a Charbelcher there. I see an Empty the Warrens, I think that
Yeah, I
is.
think it was an Empty the Warrens.
Empty and a Charbelcher, so he brought in both of his alternate win conditions.
Exactly.
I guess he put Dustin on a lot of graveyard.
Yeah, I mean, you have to guess this is Legacy. They're going to have something. Tormod's Crypt, Graph Digger's Cage, the Black Spell Bomb, whatever it might be.
Right. Now, if he only knew that Dustin had 3 hate cards, he probably would have sideboarded differently, but how can he know that?
Exactly, yeah. Maybe if it was top 8 and they had both players' deck list. Otherwise, no shot. Alright, so yeah, that's game. Dustin shows him the Lightning Bolt, bringing Nick down to 4, and then both Delver Secrets were 3/2, so it was just kill Nick.
Yeah,
So,
I hope we can get the big picture back so we can see what Nick's hand was. I saw Cabal Therapy.
Alright, so it's Cabal Therapy, Dark Ritual, Simian Spirit Guide, Metamorphosis. So he needed another, you know, like Elvish Spirit Guide or Simian Spirit Guide.
Right, he needed 1 more mana only.
Well, yeah, so then that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
But Stifle, but then Dustin did have double Stifle.
Well, Nick had the Cabal Therapy in hand.
Oh, he
to be
did
able
have, yeah,
to-
you're right, yeah,
so,
he did.
So he
yeah.
was 1 short of being able to combo Dustin off. Even though it seemed like he had nothing, this Oops All Spells deck, it just goes off like that.
And he had enough mana to be able to Cabal Therapy and also use the activation.
I think he was only 1 short.
Okay, yeah, okay, I believe it. Wow, so it was definitely a really close game. Dustin on the right ends up winning in 3 games with his blue-white-red Delver deck. If you guys like playing Delver decks, if you guys were a big fan of Rug Delver, you guys would probably love blue-white-red Delver. People are calling it American Delver because of the colors.
Right.
Guys, same draft. It's good in Standard. It's good in Modern. It's good in Legacy.
It's one of the most frustrating cards to play against because so often your opponent plays Geist and you just say, wow, I can't do a thing about that.
If you weren't expecting a Geist Stain draft, you're in trouble.
It kills you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just a real powerful card, and congratulations to Dustin. He moves on to 4-0 already. You know, this is a 9-round tournament, so he's only 3 wins away from locking up a spot in the top 8.
Yeah, that would be his 3rd top 8. He has a 1st place finish, he has a second place finish, and a 9th place finish.
Yeah, Dustin definitely loves coming to these SCG Opens, and you know, I don't blame him. It's really fun tournaments, you know, giant cash prizes. Also, you get to qualify for the Invitational. Next Invitational is in Atlanta, so I'm definitely going to that, and I'm excited for it.